Yo, first of all, you messed me up, but it's all good. Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Devvon Terrell from the My Audio Nerds podcast. And, you know, I wanted to start this podcast a little different as opposed to how we've done it in the past because there's recent news that has hit our, ethos of our audio industry. And it's brought up a really important conversation that I think we should have. I would like to give a disclaimer as far as we did open the conversation up to our base as well, as far as all our loyal listeners, where we just had a comment section and we had all of you guys give us your perspective because we really want to make sure that we're hearing everyone and that we would create a dialogue where we're not just yelling at each other. And so we can kind of figure out a way for us to get on a path or a course that just makes more sense so we can all have a better understanding of the situation at hand. Because there's a lot of information I see going out too that's confusing. So what I want to do is, and the way I wanted to open this up was, I actually wanted to dive into our comment section of all of you that have commented and stuff like that and kind of get an idea of the feeling and sentiment that we've been seeing online regarding the Waves subscription plan. That's the news that basically broke and it was trending on Twitter. It was really big. And that's basically what we're going to do right now. So what I want to do right now is I've picked some comments that I just wanted to read off just for perspective. Brother Courtney has also got some comments he wants to read off from you. And then my guy LJ has some too. I think this is a really good way to kind of start it because I think that this is a good way to open it up to just start it with the community and what everybody's been feeling and stuff like that.
For sure.
So would you like me to go first? Okay, you can show my laptop. You show mine? Cool. All right. So I'm not going to say the person's name or anything like that just in case you want to be anonymous. I'll make sure I blur this out as well. So here it goes. Subs are okay. But then again, as a musician, if I had to subscribe to guitar just to play my guitar every few days, that wouldn't work. That's the part of the songwriter side that maybe the biz misses. For mixers and commercial studios, I think it works great. They get projects with everything, so this is a solution. Also, there is the simple, how many $20 to $50 a month subscriptions can you afford versus how many plugins do I need and how much value do the updates add? As an Adobe subscriber, I think they add enough value that I'm okay with it at the moment. So yeah, I still think nice to have the option, but know that it can be tough for developers, it says devs, and users with supporting old stuff, knowing you have the latest, etc. Also, I've seen plenty of creators that don't update Mac OS for stability. So for these folks, maybe the subs, not so needed. It will be interesting to see if folks start rolling more with the DAW stock plugins. Fun topic. You want to read yours? Interesting take?
Yeah, I like that take.
Which one is yours so I'll make sure I bring it up on the screen?
It is...
Don't say the name, but let me see. I got it.
It is the black and white profile pic, yep.
I got it. My screen is good to go.
Alrighty.
Okay.
So, the first one says, I don't like subscriptions in general. I only see it benefiting the company. It's only good for the user if they're constantly using that particular brand's plugins. And I've never used only Waves plugins to mix a whole song. It's always a mix of different brands. Imagine if all brands went subscription, then I have to have multiple subscriptions just to use that one plugin I like from that brand and those two other plugins I like from the other brand.
Interesting.
Very interesting point.
Interesting take. LJ, I got you right now. 1 second. Loading up LJ's right quick. This is y'all speaking. And I just want to make that clear. This is the perspective of a lot of people in the community and stuff like that. Go ahead.
This whole Wave situation is a total mess.
Get on that mic.
Just to be clear, I'm not against subscription bundles. Slate Digital, Splice, and East West use it here. But the fact that they rolled it out of nowhere with no alternative is bad. As example, I was signed to one of Plugin Alliance bundles, but then I switched to buying perpetual licenses of single plugins that I really use. PA offers subscription, rent-to-own, buying licenses, and they also have crazy sales just like Waves does. That's a healthy model.
So let's hang out for a second after we all kind of read some actually varying perspectives on the entire thing. I think personally that if this many people have an issue or are outraged as we've been seeing about it, something needs to be had, right? because it's one thing the subscription model is not new to our audio industry as of recent, right? Like it's not new. But I do believe that as a company, if this much back track has come from people as far as, just showing the animosity towards it and just having an issue, I do think it is something that has to be, at the very least, considered to at least have the dialogue to say, okay, what's the issue here? So that's where I've landed, and that's why I'm kind of giving a lot. We don't usually do this, right? Like, this isn't really us. For the most part, not saying it's not us, but I just felt like compelled to do it where I was like, yo, let's have the conversation about this. Because people are, have we ever seen people this irate about like a drop or a transition or just anything from a technical standpoint?
Not that I can recall.
Nothing, not anything. And a lot of companies have transitioned to this business model.
For sure.
So why do you think Waves is getting this much heat for it?
In my personal opinion, one of the biggest things definitely is, which is a big part of the crowd that's arguing against this whole business model transition. What about all of us that bought all these plugins before, all these legacy ones that are supposedly going to be suspended, or all the ones that literally, even if they weren't being suspended, we literally spent money on them.
Okay.
Now it's just like, well, congratulations.
Uh-huh.
Now you got to continue paying for it or you can't use it no more.
So in the back of your mind, do you feel like you're being forced into a subscription model?
At that point, yeah.
Okay. And I've been seeing that a lot from people, and that's what I feel like is the real sentiment that I've been getting. Because the most of the people that I see that are very upset by it or outraged is the people that are long-standing Waves users. Because now, as a long-standing Waves user, and I understand a lot of different facets of this entire thing. It's a fascinating case study for us. This is like a historical moment. Mm-hmm. I think that people that own a lot of Waves plugins, right? All the countless years that people have spent buying Waves plugins, I find them to be outraged the most. I remember checking out, I watched videos from, for instance, shout out Bolo, the producer. I've checked out Weaver Beats takes about it. I've checked out a few of them. Like, we've been watching a few people's takes on it and stuff like that. And they had some very interesting points that, I'll be honest, I couldn't ignore. And then at the same time, just kind of echoed the sentiments of a lot of people that, were kind of in the comments. Now, granted, I also want to say there has been another side where people have been actually looking at it from a good perspective as well, which I would like to talk about because that's also very interesting to me too. As far as you being a long-standing Waves customer and just like having their plugins and stuff like that, how does this whole thing feel for you as far as everything is concerned?
I'm just upset in the sense of I get both sides of the coin, but there wasn't even an attempt, it feels, at some type of compromise. Because as an FL user, I've had to deal with, and I don't know if Pro Tools had to go through it as well. I had to deal with certain Waves updates not working or aligning with my FL updates. So I'll tell you, when I switched to FL 20 and my Waves 11 plugins were just tripping, or when we had a lot of plugin like issues with, for example, the templates at the time. Remember when we were doing the templates and like
goodness.
Waves update version,
it was kicking out behind
12 and 11 and everything.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
that was a tough experience.
now when FL 20, I put it like this: if I had Waves 12's plugins right now as an FL 21 user, probably wouldn't work. Not probably, it definitely wouldn't work. So now when the next FL rolls around, or even if it's just a regular maintenance update or something, and now my DAW won't work with everything that I spent thousands and thousands of dollars on, because we've spent
a lot of money on the plugins, and basically like, your plugins wouldn't work later on down the line.
Yeah, because there's going to be a day that if I don't switch over to their subscription model, I can't reopen a lot of old sessions. Because they just won't work with it just won't work with what I own. So my problem is just the lack of access to updates for us. And I feel like had they, because I get it, you may want people to access it. That's one of the biggest things. Like, more creatives can access Waves, more creatives can use it.
Thus, it's called creative access.
That's amazing.
Cool.
At the same time, I should be able to use what I still have. And I wish there was a way. There's a double-sided coin of some people find value in having everything for less. everything for 20 a
Up
month,
front. Up
I'll
front.
pay it over time.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas I find value if, look, Waves Harmony is such a unique plugin
Right.
that you can't find quality-wise somewhere else. Or the CLA 76. A lot of people swear by it being the best emulation.
Sure.
But if that's the only plugin I need, I no longer have the option to just get it. I have to pay for it monthly, even if that's the only plugin that I use.
Understood. So, I think it locks. I think,
Even something as intuitive as Studio Rack is like,
yeah, that's a whole.
That was a
that's
free
another thing.
plugin.
It was a
That
free
was a
plugin.
free
But now
plugin.
it's yeah, I'm sure you
no,
can't download it
that
within the
was
thing.
a free
So-
plugin that I was able to use without anything Waves.
True.
Now Studio Rack had the update where you can use it with any VST.
Any
and it's just
VST,
like,
which is powerful.
whoa, and
Yeah.
boom, just taken away like that.
You know what I think? I think that one of the reasons, that a lot of this outrage is coming for this is primarily because it lets me know how big Waves is in our community, in a sense of like, what are the common plugins that probably all of us have on our computers? It's probably Waves. I feel like most people are using Waves plugins. That's why I think that a lot of outrage comes because I think a lot of people woke up this morning and had a shock thought about their future, right? With their creative tools, right? It's like waking up and finding out your hammer, you might lose, like being a carpenter and finding out, oh, I might lose my hammer. You know what I mean? Or something like that. Because I think what we also have to realize is that you're able, I want to make sure that people understand, you're able to keep the perpetual license that you had, right? It's just that you will not be able to update it ever. Like, you're just not going to be able to update it. So you keep what you bought, but you can't update it, nor can you buy another plugin that's new from them. Yeah. So if I don't jump into the subscription model with them, basically I can't even get anything new. That's basically what I see a lot of people kind of like feeling a way about and stuff like that.
Unless you bought like the 2-year update plan thing that they have.
Now you touched on something that's kind of hard too, that update plan.
I think it's still valid.
So here's the thing. Well, the update plan it's a wrap for that too.
No, but if you already own it, then you'll still be able to get updates for what you own.
Well, that was what the update plan was.
No, I'm saying if I bought the update plan yesterday and I haven't used it, then I'll be able to use it when Wave 15 comes out.
Yeah, you'll be able to use it up until when it's over for you and it expires. And if you have the subscription model, then basically you get free updates for life kind of thing, like that kind of vibe. For me, I'm not gonna lie, the Waves update plan would kick me in the foot a lot. It would beat me down. I wasn't a fan of the Waves update plan and stuff like that. When I first looked at the subscription model, this is what was interesting for me personally. When I first looked at the subscription model, I said to myself, oh, that's kind of cool. I get everything. I get all their new stuff. I basically don't have to ever really pay for Waves plugins again because I just get it every month. But I realize, and I'm very aware that I'm talking from a place of privilege, right? I have the luxury and can afford this, like that kind of thing, where it doesn't mess with me so much, right? Because I have the luxury and privilege. But when I look down and I see how it can affect other people that may not have that 30 a month or just say to themselves, listen, I grinded for the plugin. I recently got it. And I just want that. I just wanted this particular plugin and stuff like that. I really think that it would have been important, or I would love to have the conversation with Waves about looking at the fan base or the customer base or the loyal fan base of the Waves community as far as the people in it, and saying, is there a way that we can provide value to our existing customers, as well as this new subscription model being advantageous to new customers? Because what I do realize and what I do see is, if I'm new to audio in general, the fact that I can, for $30 or $15, excuse me, I think it's $24.99, and the other one is $14.99 for the Essential. In the Essential bundle, you get a certain amount of plugins. I forgot how many it is, and then the Ultimate, you get everything. I think it's very advantageous if I'm just starting out to say, bro, my entry to the barrier for entry is so low now for me to get into. Bro, I get 220 plugins or 200 some odd plugins for $25 a month. Cool, I'm off and running. I get that value. Like, I want to be very clear. I do get that value, that I get access to all of those plugins for this, I guess you could say, in the short term, an affordable price. why I thought about it that way on the other side of the coin, by the way, I think that this could have been handled better. Absolutely. I'm definitely on that side of the coin where I'm like, this could have been handled a lot better. What I thought about was, I said, yo, when I think about buying a house, right? I'm using the analogy of a house. Let's say a house is $1 million, right? I don't got $1 million to pay for this house. So the way most people buy a house is you take out a mortgage, meaning give me a little bit of money and you'll get to use the thing that's $1 million and just pay me monthly. So in the back of my mind, I was like, okay, so you're giving me the house, I pay monthly, and I get to use the tools to make me $3 million, $4 million. Like, I see it as, okay, I see the investment part of it for me personally. At the end of the day, it's a company. Money is top of the list, right? Bottom line is top of the list. I see that side of it because I've been seeing people talk about how they like it, and I've been seeing a lot of people saying they don't like it. So I come back to, I think it's really important to pay attention to the conversation of most people are very upset about it. And if this many people are upset about it like we've been seeing, then something has to be considered in that regard as far as everything is concerned.
I haven't seen anything too invalid. When you look at the people that aren't as... and it sucks because if I'm not as reliant on CLA... I said CLA. Look at that.
You love CLA. I do too. I can't let that go. I was scared for... You'd be scared for a second. You're like, wait. Hold on. Where my CLA going? But
it's like, if you're not as reliant on Waves plugins, then you're left with the issue of, hey, I got to pay $15 a month just to use these 2 plugins that I really like. Or if you're very reliant, then it feels like, dang, like I'm feeling like you just took thousands of dollars away from me. Like I own this. Now you're going to make me re-rent, not even rebuy it, re-rent it. Like you know what I mean?
I've been seeing that sentiment a lot with people saying like, I just feel like a rug's been pulled from under me because you've invested so much into a particular ecosystem, and now it feels like I've been seeing some people say like it feels kind of like a trap where it's like
it is.
You're gonna be pushed to go in that direction
because regardless of what, if you're making money off of this, or if you use it as much as I do, and I know that my living requires me to have this tool, I'm putting a quarter. Because now my old sessions are at risk. You know what I mean? Now, you know what I mean? My workflow is at risk. Now I gotta
your future, a little shock to your future, and that's what I was saying. A little shock to your future.
So it's just like it feels, in a sense, I can see how someone would feel like it's a trap.
I understand. I understand the sentiment.
And to the new people that, you know what I mean, that aren't as reliant or whatever, I understand why it's now let's find an alternative, or it's let's move away. It makes sense,
right? Yeah. And something I will say is, we've done a lot of things with Waves. We personally done a lot of things with Waves, and I've always tried to do things with Waves that were advantageous to my audience. For instance, a lot of times with the Waves, with the things I would do with Waves, I would give plugins away for free.
RBase,
we gave RBase away for free. We gave NLS channel away for free, and that was hard to get. By the way, just want to let y'all know, like I had to I try to add value personally to my audience through these companies, right? Like I usually, if a company approaches me and wants to promote a product and stuff like that, sometimes some of these companies tell you, I don't do it. And the reason why I don't do it is because I feel like it adds no value. And me, I've always been the type of person that instead of me putting you on my channel and shitting on you, right? I just say, hey, I don't think this is good for my audience. I like to only really show them things that I really like. You understand what I'm saying? Or
we champion
things.
We've come here and talked for the last 3 weeks about Magma and how much we love it.
Very true.
Before that, it was Waves Harmony and Clarity. Before that, it was what was the breakthrough for us? I gotta remember it. So
as far as
regardless, we show how much
CR8,
Smack Attack.
Goodness. I use their stuff.
Brower
Motion. What? Brower Motion. So so I care. I think all three of us, we really care about it in the sense of, hey man, I think that these voices need to be heard, and I think we need to have a conversation about it because I think it does put people in a space where it's kind of like you feel unsafe. Right? Because you're just like, well, what's next? You know what I'm saying? With the subscription model.
Because here's what you gotta, there's so many, look at me. I'll put, even though I understand, yes, I am privileged because we have this platform. So we're allowed certain luxuries that others don't. But at the end of the day, I also got to put my position of whether, even if I didn't have this, I'm a college student.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm doing music at a high level, but I'm still trying to figure it out.
Right.
I don't gotta. You know what I mean?
Right. And that 24.5 a month could be a lot for you.
Yeah.
It could be a lot for you to use the tools that you already, you know what I mean, been using and stuff like that. I understand.
It's gonna add up $250 a year. You know what I mean?
And for some people, and that's why
more than that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I think if you pay $250 for the year, you get it for the year, and that gives you 2 free months. Yeah. So that's also a thing.
What was the update plan yearly?
Yo, okay. So as far as the update plan, basically you could update specific plugins if you wanted to. So I don't know how much.
But it depended on how much you had.
It was depending on how much you had. A choice,
and that goes back to the doesn't matter point of. It doesn't matter whether you used Waves a lot or little, you're affected where, look, I didn't have to pay this much yearly to get it updated because I only used 2 plugins or 3 plugins from Waves. Or I would have to pay this much anyways, but it doesn't, like, I still paid the added 30 to get it or 50. I don't care if I got it on a sale, you know, to buy 4, get 5 free.
It'd be some sale. I ain't gonna lie. RIP to the sales, bro. Let us be like, we gonna miss them sales, bro.
I see the reason.
Yeah,
like, I see the reason.
We'd call each other when it was Wave sales. I'm like, bro, they got this for a 20. Like, makes
sense now.
Yeah. I'm gonna miss that culture from Waves as far as that's concerned because we all know that is dead and gone. But
and if shout out to Image Line, right? The way that y'all can heal my heart. I'm looking. Is that my camera? The way that y'all can heal my heart is to commit to updating it till at least FL25.
Commit to updating it. Oh, like
to keeping this Waves version. Like, just always be compatible with this version of Waves. Because if I go back to my old sessions on my new MacBook, that's why I can't touch all my old stuff. Like when we did Raw Volume 2,
right?
It's on my Windows because I can't open
it
with
on
the new version of the Waves. Because I have on my Mac, I have the new version of the Waves,
and it won't open with the new versions.
Yeah,
Waves?
Because even though the sessions will open. The new version is just weird. It's so weird. It was the worst thing ever. Like, because it's like there was a little cusp of where this version of Waves didn't work with this new version of FL, and it was just like, like Waves 11, 12 into the Waves 11, 12 coincided with like the the FL 12 to 20 transfer, and it was like a weird little pocket where this version didn't work with this and this didn't.
Interesting, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, the Wave shells would show up like if you use FL.
Shells.
It was so nasty.
Okay,
so
I wanted to actually read another comment. If that's okay.
You want to read? I read a comment earlier.
Let me read mine first.
Can I read? No, can I say it? It's not my comment that I want to read.
It must be short and very sweet.
Yeah.
Go ahead, go ahead. You're itching. You're bleeding. Go ahead. What's your comment?
You said, "Damn, UAD, perfect time."
Oh my God! All right,
y'all don't find that suspicious? Yeah. Y'all don't find that suspicious?
I'm gonna read another comment from someone in our audience that basically just had 2 cents to add to this and stuff like that. Which I just want to make sure. I just want to listen. I just want to hear from everyone because I want perspective myself. So, Cam, you can show my computer if you'd like. Good. The subscription model wouldn't be that much of an issue if they had it as an alternative to perpetual licenses.
Ooh, yes.
They should have given us the choice of either perpetual or subscription-based instead of just making perpetual licenses obsolete. It's not fair to the veteran users who have thousands of dollars invested into plugins or for new users just starting their career and only wanted a couple of plugins to mess around with. We were all already on a subscription technically with the Waves update plan, which no one liked, but dealt with it anyway. This is what he said. But we still had the freedom of buying individual plugins and only paying the update plan for the plugins we actually used. I'd honestly rather than that's what I'm reading what he said. Rather that than paying monthly, annually with literally no other option. So what I'm seeing once again from people is just the option, man. I think a lot of people are just taken aback by just the lack of options. I think when people feel as if they're kind of the sentiment being forced into something, especially a subscription model, I think that's when people feel as if,
No, forced is the right word.
Yeah.
The reason why forced is the right word is because I don't care if a cleanup comes in a sense of, hey guys, we we messed up. We always had this option, like this second option planned. We just didn't roll it out. Hey, that's very not inconsiderate. That's very irresponsible.
Understand.
If you're gonna roll something out, you need to roll it out completely. You guys are too big for this. It's not you guys with all.
They're the biggest.
I'm not gonna even say the company name. You guys aren't the new small companies. Y'all have been here. Y'all should know better. So if this was y'all plan. I'm sorry if I sound angry, but this is what y'all knew what was gonna come with this. I don't know if y'all knew what magnitude, but y'all didn't put out another option for a reason because you wanted us to be kind of forced into this new model. So yes, if a second option, the one that we really want, does come, is after this protest, which I think is completely valid, but. Yeah, forced is the correct word to use.
Okay,
because that's what
I hear you. And so it brings me to a place where I say, what would have been the better case scenario for ways to roll this out? Like I started to think to myself because I'm very big on I'm not the type of person that likes to complain.
Yeah.
Without saying, okay, well, how would I have done it? You understand what I'm saying? Like how
fully getting a good retrospective of it.
Yeah, like how could this have been better or how could we have gone about this? Because right now I feel like this could be a great teaching moment for our entire industry, right? Because I'm pretty sure everyone's thinking in their boardrooms an idea of the subscription model.
Yeah, how do we do this?
Right now, can I tell you what I think a lot of plugin companies or companies in general may be thinking right now?
No.
Scared to death to touch that right now, right? Because of all that, like that was a lot, man. Like that was a lot. So I'm thinking to myself, well, what's the proper way to do a subscription model that one pays attention to your already fan base or already purchased perpetual licenses, and how do you please newcomers? Obviously, pleasing newcomers.
That's easy. You guys just got here. 25. You just got to the party.
Right.
You shouldn't complain because you're getting. If
everything
you could have told me 10
worked
years
for,
ago
right,
that I could get 220.
Yeah, I think about
If
200.
in 2000 whenever I started buying plugins, y'all said I could get everything that I own currently for 25 a month. I probably, you know what I mean? I probably spent so much with Waves that if I started with 25 a month, I still wouldn't have paid it off by now.
I understand.
So my thing is, they need to, or what I would have liked was you give the people who've spent bread with you, I don't care if you tear it up or whatever, based on how much, like I'll put it like this. Native Instruments does a thing where if you own a bunch of plugins, like, and Waves didn't do it. That's not me like throwing dirt.
It's okay. I want to know. I do want to
Native
get a solution.
Instruments, when I own Complete 14, and if I want to own Complete 15, it's not a free update. I still got to pay for it. But it'll be discounted depending on what I had. So
it was a discounted price.
Or even then, depending on what I own. Say I didn't own Complete, but I own Abbey Road drums, I own Contact, I own
the pieces outside
everything.
of it.
It's like, we're going to heavily discount this for you. So it's just like, hey, if you spent whatever, or if you already owned everything in this
bundle,
ecosystem,
right,
and you want a thing for the updates, here, all right, $5 a month or something heavily discounted, not just
like a rent to own kind of vibe.
No,
kind
if
of
they
thing?
said, hey, to all the people that already own it, because we still have to, regardless, we're on a subscription with the update model.
Yeah.
But if they said, hey, if you already own this, you may qualify for $3.99 a month. Instead of 15 or 25 a month.
Yeah.
Or something discounted, or just perpetual licenses to still be supported.
Or that, yes.
So is that what they did? Did they still allow the perpetual license to exist, but they give you a discounted subscription price?
No.
So what was the $3.99 a month thing? What
No,
was
I'm
that?
saying that would be my solution.
Say it to me one more time. I really want to understand because I think you were onto something.
My solution would be, hey, if you owned or spent this much with Waves or whatever, you may qualify for a discounted creative access license.
Okay.
So, hey, your creative license, access license, since you've been with Waves for 10 years or you've spent X thousands amount of, you could qualify for, hey, you get the creative access for $3.99 a month or $5.99 if you want the full thing. Or
I have one. Go ahead. You just gave me a great idea.
And guess what? Now you can overhaul anybody that owns it, and I can say, hey, either you don't get updates, or you can trade in all of your perpetual licenses for this huge discount of $2.99 or $3.99. Or you can just allow people who own it
Just
to
to
just
keep-
have, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
access to the updates. You're not selling it more, so anybody new has to come. Anybody who didn't own Smack Attack before it will have to come.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you get
For anything I owned, allow me to keep and update. Or because I can't buy anything new, so it's like
I agree, man.
I'm gonna have to.
I'm not gonna
you know
lie
what I
to
mean?
you. I
Or
agree.
just give me a huge discount on it.
Right. So you know what I agree with you on? I agree with you on a few things. That was great, brother. I really do agree with you. I think that anything that somebody owned, right?
Yeah.
You should continue to allow me to be able to update, right? And if I want to pay for it, cool, right? So I think that. So I think what the real issue is, and I'm finding that because I was like, okay,
That makes
what's
sense. Yeah, now I'm thinking
the
about
niche
it.
issue? If you allowed me to still be able to pay to update, then I think that I wouldn't have any issue because I'd be like, okay, I don't need
Aside
this.
from the platform.
Aside from the
Yeah, that
platform.
makes sense.
Or even
yeah.
if you want to if y'all want to be petty, right? You know, businesses. You know, the bottom line
It's
is
a
the
model.
bread, right?
Bottom
Yeah.
line is the point, man. And I want to be
Remember-
clear. I get it.
Yeah, we
I'm not gonna
respect
say
it.
I
We respect
don't-
it. We respect
Everybody
I
knows
know.
what it's for, but we gotta have a plug-in. Come on. My thing is,
Don't bring us in this. I
it.
don't want no. Listen,
here's the deal.
we-
If
listen,
y'all want to
it's
be
yours.
petty, and they gonna kill me for giving them ideas.
What?
But remember, just allow me to still be able to use it. If I go to FL23 and all of a sudden I can't use everything that I owned,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna suck. Or if y'all create a way where we can update, it just won't be as dope as updates. Case in point, remember when Renaissance had the entire Renaissance line had the rehaul in the design UI? It went from looking super old to super modern.
The Renaissance,
Like Arvox.
Oh, I love that. That was a good upgrade.
But now imagine like they redesigned the UI to the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they only make that, you know what I mean?
In the new-
yeah,
in
to
the
the
new-
subscription people.
Right.
I can still update.
Right.
And it'll just be to use it in my new DAW.
I get it.
You know what
I
I mean?
understand what you're saying.
So it'll be supported.
To me, you know what I say is, and I think in the back of my mind, I say Waves. You know, Waves has had that sentiment online of the big bad giant, right? Like they've had that sentiment as the big bad giant.
They're the bullies.
That's what people.
Have they been?
No. But I've seen this. Is what I'm saying. I've seen them
No,
as
they're the top dog.
being the top dog and being the big bad. I'm saying the big bad wolf. Like people always be People like to kill Waves, right? Like I've seen
yeah.
that. Come on. People like
People
to kill
like
Waves.
to kill Behringer.
All right.
I don't think
Oh,
they
boy.
kill.
Don't know where
I
he's
think
going.
I think Waves got a lot of, but I feel like I
me-
might be tripping, but Waves has been praised heavily.
Yes.
Today.
But they also have had a lot of negative things attached
Your
to them.
timeline
How
is
many,
different.
How many YouTube videos have I seen why I don't buy Waves? Why Waves isn't
Yep.
a great company? I've seen that.
That's a different convo for a different episode. But I don't think Waves even touches top 5 like most killed. Like you know what I mean? Like if anything, Isotope. I've seen Isotope hate. I haven't seen it like for Waves.
Well,
Am I tripping?
here's what I'm trying to say is regarding that is when it comes to them, I think that what would be great is if they gave the existing customers knowing full and well, right? That's like, hey, this is gonna be a thing. I think this is gonna like ruffle some people,
feathers.
especially our existing customers. So in the back of my mind, I say, how can we figure out a way to please them, but still accomplish our goal of having a subscription model? And in the back of my mind, you struck me with something that I actually thought about earlier, but I forgot about it. And I was like, if you gave me, right, if you calculated, which I'm so sure you could do, how much money I had invested into my plugins, right? And then said to yourself, okay, yo, bro, Jay, or whatever your name is, you've invested $2,000 into our plugins, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take off a percentage of that for the actual creative access and give you an exclusive amount that you can pay. $3.99, $2.99. You get all the Waves plugins.
That's what I just said, yeah.
No, I'm just saying, but I'm just breaking it down even more. No, you got it. But what I'm saying is, to me as an existing customer, I think in the back of my mind, I would have said, oh, snap. So for $3 a month, and it'll say you give me only $3 a month for the next 3 years. Cool. In the back of our mind, right? And I say, that's fire. And then you say, and also, if you would also like to continue to pay to update your perpetual licenses, you could do that as well.
There's a reason
There was
to come
the-
back.
but
Multiple options.
You gave me
Yeah.
you gave me choices. You gave me choices. And I think that's
just lock me in.
what the issue is. Where I think people felt like they weren't allowed into a lot of choices. Now, let me open up the conversation to this as well. There's the new option or the new thing called Studioverse within them, right? Where basically you're allowed, or it's a creation of AI tools that give you plugin chains according to your genre or the style or all those types of things, and you get these plugin chains.
Quick question.
I don't think it would have worked. I don't think it works if people don't have all the plugins. Because think about it, if this chain has certain plugins that you don't have, then it kind of makes that whole system moot. And I'm realizing that now.
Yeah.
It is very interesting. So we're good for now. I do want to say that we have worked with Waves many times in the past. We also did contribute to Studioverse as well. As far as the plugin chains and stuff like that, had a lot of fun doing that. You know, when I was aware of the idea and when they brought it to us, I thought it was amazing. I was like, oh, that's really cool because we make vocal chains and stuff like that. So in the back of my mind, the fact that people were going to get it for nothing, I thought that was really cool that they get access to these chains. And, you know, obviously we had a lot of fun making that and stuff like that. At the same time, you got to be honest.
It sucks.
I just got to be honest about things. And, I think we owe that to our base as far as everything, just to say, like, we hear you, and obviously being a platform that has worked with a lot of these companies and things of that nature, when something like this happens and when the outcry is this loud, I think it's disingenuous of us not to comment on it. For us. I'm talking for us. I'm not saying the rest of our community. I'm just talking about for us in general because we've done a lot of business.
Into it, and I say, and not to mention it's such a big part of our ecosystem, our everyday ecosystem.
Yeah, so I think it's important to say. So I really do hope, and anybody at Waves, I know a lot of you guys, I'm not going to say any names, but I would love to have a conversation with you guys. I would love to know, how you guys feel about this and how you plan to move forward and things of that nature, because the outcry has been really, really loud. And at the very least, I think something has to be considered in that regard. So I would love to have that dialogue with Waves. I'd love to hear from them. And I'd like to just hear a way for us to make this better, this whole thing better, because I think where a lot of people stands is very obvious. I think that there's some things that they got right with this, but I think there's also a large amount that was forgotten and that got lost in this amazing new venture that they're kind of taking. So I want to be very clear on that. And I just want better for our community. And I hope that everybody that has an opinion, please understand to voice your opinion with respect. Like that's always what I want to make sure I'm doing. And I'm glad we had this conversation.
Communication without comprehension is nonsense.
Ooh,
I agree with
that's
you.
Bar.
He didn't make that.
Yeah, I did.
He didn't make
sure.
that.
I'm not gonna lie, because I was trying to remember the actual quote, but I couldn't rember, so I brought the nonsense part in. So that's
okay.
low key me.
He put a little
sauce on it. Yeah, come on. But I would like to say that. First, this has been the My Audio Nerds podcast.
That's a fact.
Because I feel like you're gonna cut it off right after I say this. So let me get this off.
Audio podcast on earth, man.
Shout out to.
I'm saying it.
If y'all watching and y'all know who y'all is, I think it'd be the perfect time now. Now that the Waves is kind of down, like
I don't know what you're doing.
I don't know if
Where
they.
is he going?
No,
we did so.
He's about
I think
to go
we did
low.
listen.
Listen.
He's about to fuck everything up. Go ahead.
Behringer.
Okay.
It's the time to roll out those plugins,
it's your boy Devvon Terrell. It's been the My Audio Nerds podcast. Please make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Also, make sure you comment on our Spotify or Apple Music. One lucky person is going to get that HMD Rosetta EQ. It's a perpetual license, just to let everyone know. I feel like we have to say that right now.
That's a shot.
Yeah, that's all there. We really appreciate you guys for tuning in and checking it out. And by all means, please give your sentiment in the comments. I think it's really important for us to actually give our perspectives to each other because it allows us to open a dialogue and perhaps, and I know in the back of my mind, these companies are all taking notes and reading this stuff. So I think it's important to do it, but please express yourself respectfully. That's my biggest thing in anything on the internet, because I think some people get lost and realize that these are human beings as well. And these people have families, and these people are, I think we're all just trying to pay our bills and feed our families. So
and everybody makes mistakes, bro.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
I hope that we
Don't be
can
jerk.
come to a place and we can figure this whole thing out. But this has been the My Audio Nerds podcast. Until next time, y'all.
Yo, that BLA 2A
All right.
this Friday.